So getting into it, we have Chan coming so fast, and people are now starting to feel the heat. It's just weeks away. So Mark Namani, I think you've been, into the preparations. Kindly tell us how it's going. Are we actually ready for Chan?
Yes, we're ready. The president is launching the tournament on Friday at a massive event at Kololo. He'll be accompanied by the First Lady, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports. We have CAF officials who are currently camped at Serena, which is the base for the CAF hotel. There is a lot of activity happening at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, because you have the stadium media center being erected there. You have the events management center being erected there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, by the end of this week, CAF would have taken over Nambole. So there'll be no other activity happening at Nambole. Management will be kicked out and CAF will be fully in charge, because all the matches in Group C will happen at Nambole. And those are games which will involve Uganda Cranes, South Africa, Algeria, Guinea, and Niger. And you've had CAF inspectors who've, over the last couple of days, been coming into the country. They've made visits at the Fufakadiva Stadium to check the floodlights, to check the lavatories, to check the condition of the pitches and so forth, to inspect the branding and various other nitty-gritties of all the training venues, Chambogo, which is going to be used, as well as Wankulukuku, which has been given such a massive facelift. And of course, in the country here, you're seeing signages which are coming up. And I think the first team to arrive in the country, will be Niger. Niger are flying in, I think, next week on Tuesday. So the tournament is upon us, and what started as a dream is becoming reality very soon. And remember, Chan will not be happening only in Uganda; it will also happening in Kenya and Tanzania. And it's a very historic moment for this country.
Okay, thank you so much. And now let's look into our players right now. Of course, the past week we were looking at the whole rugby thing, how it turned out. And right now we are looking forward to our players, the Uganda Cranes. I hope they really redeem us. Mark, Sally, tell us how are the players doing.
Yeah, I think the mood has caught on as well with the team itself. Mark has been talking about all the arrangements that are going on off the pitch to ensure that we have a good tournament. But the team itself has been gearing up and getting ready. The past couple of weeks have actually been intensifying. You remember the last time we were here, I was telling you about how I ran into them when they'd come to see the Cranes play against Kenya in that Africa Nations Cup rugby game. And I spoke with them at the time, and they were saying they were only picking up on their fitness and everything. They had only just got into training, but now it's full force. They've had some public viewings, some trainings here, and public viewings. They are now playing in a 3 Nations tournament. It's a preparation tournament in Tanzania. They lost a game to Tanzania, but like they were saying, I was looking at their interviews after from Alan Okello, the captain, as well as Mole Biekwas, who is co-coach, and they were saying they were not too worried. They'd played well, especially in the second half of that game. That's how preparation games are, especially the first one. And they thought that they'd created the chances and not taken them, so they think that the second trial game against Senegal in this 3 Nations tournament should continue to show them how far they've gone. I looked at the team, and it was virtually what we have been discussing here for months on the show. The team that played against Tanzania started Joel Mutakubwa in goal. Mutakubwa is deputized by Dennis Chigundu from Vipers and Crispus Kusima from Kitara. Mutakubwa is from Bull, the goalkeeper. I think on the show we had been discussing about how we thought Hannington Sebalunyo might make the cut. He didn't, so it's those 3 in camp. So the defense that started against, the back 4 that started in that game against Tanzania was Gavin Chizito, the KCCA man, at right back. Herbert Achai, who is now KCCA, he's crossed over from Express again, gone back to KCCA at left back. And they had Nicholas Mwere from Bull with Rogers Torach of Vipers as the back 4. And then that midfield 3 was all Vipers. Karim Watambala, Marvin Youngman, and Alan Okello ahead of them as the creator. Those 2 as the double pivot. And then, of course, a front 3 that had Yunus Centam, who is Vipers as well, as the point man, the spearhead. Mark had talked about him quite a bit here on the show. And then he was on either side of him was Villa's Patrick Akande and Jude Semugabi of Vipers. Of Kitara, who probably is going to be crossing over to Vipers as it is. Or even actually leaving the country at some point. Hopefully, that doesn't happen before kickoff on 4th, so he can remain eligible to play. Because if you remember, we've lost a few players over the last 1 year who would have played in this CHAN but have crossed over to APR. Most recently, of course, is Sechiganda from Villa, and who has joined Dennis Omedi and Hakim Chuan, who crossed over to IPR earlier and got out of there. So that was the team that started. But that midfield I've talked about of Watambala and Youngman and Alan Okello has deputies, able deputies. Enoch Sebagala was crossed over now from NEC to Vipers, as well as Joel Serunjoji from KCCA. Two of those guys you think would be deputizing. There's a whole KCCA bunch of guys as well in attack who are available as alternatives to Semugabi and Kakande and Sentamo. I'm talking Emmanuel Anyama, who scored goals for KCCA in the league, the Uganda Premier League this season. I'm talking Shafiq Nana Kwikiriza. I'm talking Osama Arafat. And I'm talking Ivan Indisibwe, second top scorer in the league this year with URA, but has also crossed over to KCCA in this transfer window. So you think that the team has got options, that has got plenty of talent going around. Yeah. What they have to do, and Mark knows this has been a weakness of ours, because this is our 6th attempt and we have not come out of the group phases before, because we don't score goals. What they have to do is convert what they call territorial dominance. That is Okello, the captain, and his coach, Molebe Kwaso. Territorial dominance in that game against Tanzania is something when they come to Nambole on 4th August to start against Algeria, something they have got to convert into actual goals, because that's how they're going to keep the crowds coming. That's how we're going to get out of a tough group, because we've got Algeria as our first game on the 4th. Wow. The tournament starts on 2nd, but away from Kampala. And then we've got Algeria on 4th. 4 days later, we play against Guinea. 3 days after that, we play against Niger. And then we have between Niger and South Africa, our last group game is a whole week. That is between 11th to 18th of August. So they'll have a week to prepare for what should be a decider. Hopefully, you want to hope, Mark, that by then they've collected at least 7 points or at least 6. If they can beat Niger and Guinea, opening game against Algeria will be tough.
The most important game.
But if they have 6 points going into the game against South Africa, then we can qualify.
The most important game, Mark, is the one against Algeria.
The opener.
It's the opener. It's the game which, if we get a result, it's going to force all Ugandans, to rally. I know Ugandans will rally behind the team anyway. But if we get the result, if we got the 3 points against Algeria, just imagine the kind of impact it would have on the team going into the next game, and I mean it will take a weight of expectation off the team.
Yeah, it sets the tone.
It sets the tone
and builds the hype that we need to fuel Nambole for the rest of the games, and then to push that because the
last thing you want, Mark, is for CHAN to reach the knockout stages when Uganda is not part of it. Yeah. It will be such a huge dampener on the tournament after all the anticipation and excitement.
Yes, we don't have an opening game or a final. But we have, after those group games, we have a quarter-final, we have a semi-final, and we have the third place playoff match, or the losers match.
We'll have 2 semi-finals, yes.
Yeah, but 2 semi-finals. So you want to keep interest in the tournament here in Kampala up to that level.
Altogether, Uganda Cranes, Mandela National Stadium is going to host 12 matches.
Yes.
Across 8 match days.
Yeah. So to keep the interest going for the local fans here is to stay in the tournament as long as is possible for Uganda. Yeah. So we need to get out of the group.
If Uganda can get a result against Algeria, and that's a big if, because the last time Uganda played Algeria, Algeria beat us 3-1, although that was the senior Cranes.
It has been different this time.
But if we can get a result, I think we can take care of the business against Niger
and
Guinea. South Africa will be a challenge. But we can't even afford to lose to South Africa if we take care of business against Algeria, Guinea, and Niger.
If you get 7 points from there, you're looking at knockout stages. You're looking at qualifying out of that group. So that means not losing, or maybe a draw and 2 wins.
Yes.
It's a tough ask, but these guys are playing in front of a home crowd. As long as they can set the tone early in the game against Algeria, excite the fans, get them into there.
Yeah.
It will continue.
The last time we played Nigeria at Nambole, we beat them. The last time we played Guinea at Nambole, we beat them.
Yes.
But the last time South Africa played Uganda at Nambole, actually South Africa is the only country which has beaten Uganda Cranes twice at Nambole. We've never beaten South Africa.
Guys.
We haven't even drawn with them. They've
Maybe
come
this time
here-
it will be
They've
different.
come here twice and beaten us.
Yes,
The first time
yeah.
was Benny McCarthy in 2004. The second time was recently when they cleaned us at Namboole.
Yeah, the thing though is that Mark, I think the most recent memory of us against South Africa
Yeah.
is an inspiring one. If the team management,
Yes.
Paul Put and his team can use it.
In fairness, Mark, we're
the
already-
2-2 draw in South Africa,
Mark,
when
we're
was-
qualified already. When they beat
Yes.
us at Namboole. So
Yes.
that result, I think even the players went onto the pitch knowing that they
Yeah, but you remember that exciting 2-2 draw down in South Africa.
Yes, yes. I mean, we should
The
have
goals from Omedi and Mato.
we should have won that game.
Yeah, that's a game we should have
Okay.
won. We actually went into the last quarter of the game leading,
Yeah.
and they somehow equalized. But it was a performance on which they can base. Of course, Omedi and Mato are not part of this team, but the most of the guys, these Kakandes, and they were all down there in
Yeah.
South Africa
Although
when this game
although-
happened. So they know
In contrast, South Africa have
they were
got
Tambalas. Yeah.
South Africa will have the bulk of the team which came here because most of their players, South Africa, are home-based Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, and Orlando Pirates. So if they maintain the kind of squad which came here, then we really have our cut out against them.
No, Mark, it's tough for us because we're in a group in which we have two teams coming from leagues, domestic leagues, which are definitely stronger than ours.
Yes.
South Africa and Algerian leagues
Yes.
are much stronger than ours. That's without a doubt.
Yes.
There's no contest over that.
Yes.
And we need somehow to use home advantage against that might. There are question marks about whether the Guinea local league or the Niger local league are better than the UPLs because their best players are actually playing out of France and all. But there, I think basically you're talking 50-50s. And what's giving us the edge is that home advantage we've talked about. So we've got to exploit it fully. Chan,
Okay.
being a team, being a tournament of domestic best players, gives an advantage to those teams that have. Algeria have 3 or 4 clubs competing on the continent at the highest level every season.
Yeah.
And South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns have only just returned from the Club World Cup in the USA with a lot of money in their pockets and a lot of good experiences. I think they were the best performing African team. So those are the players going into the South African
those ones are
team.
going to-
You can imagine
to
what that
face.
means. Yeah, that's what that means. It's it can
That's
it,
okay,
it,
though.
it can
All,
be scary,
all
but
we
it's
have to
also
do, Mark,
inspiring.
all we have to do
yeah.
is to do the business against Algeria.
Yeah.
If we can, believe you me, that result is going to have a very, very huge positive impact on Uganda's matches going forward, from the terraces and right onto the players.
But there will be fun anyway, Mark, regardless.
Yeah.
I know that Ugandans know how to party.
Yeah.
Sometimes even when the sporting results don't go for us. I saw that recently after we lost to Kenya in the rugby. Paul knows quite a bit about this. It did not stop the party from going on.
No,
And for the rest of
definitely
the tournament anyway, Ugandans still showed up. But you hope that we win here. The thing though is that there's going to be those fun zones, Mark.
Yes.
And we're going to have fun packs.
Yeah.
And the Ugandans who can't squeeze into Namboole, and when I say squeeze, I use that word loosely because I'm talking 40,000 people. It should accommodate as many of us as it can. But those who will not be able to make it into there can go into the fun packs.
Yeah.
We have those to CAF standards, and we're going to be advertised where they are. And guys can go in there, enjoy the entertainment that comes along with that, the music, the drink, the performances, as well as the football itself on giant,
And maybe the fans out
screens.
the fans out there need
on
to know
giant
that
screens. Yeah.
all matches in Group C will be double headers. So the first game will kick off at 5, the second game kicks off at 8 p.m. Now,
Wow.
All Ugandan games are at
Yes.
8 p.m. They're the evening
the evening
kickoffs.
kickoffs, yeah, because you want to have a full capacity stadium, and so Uganda will be playing games at night. So tickets will be bought for one ticket. You get to watch 2 matches. So the final ticket pricing is coming out in a couple of days' time. But the bit of it
Early
is that, for
bird.
instance, if you want to watch Uganda Cranes playing Algeria, pay for the opening game, which is going to kick off at 5 p.m. and then you can stroll in with your family, have a nice evening at Namboole, as you wait for the main act at 8 p.m. And I think it should be a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it's going to be a great experience. Namboole, we've had a few Cranes games in recent times, so many fans will know that it has been largely upgraded as a stadium. It's improved a lot, so the ambience is quite good.
Yeah.
But there are those Ugandans who still haven't tested the new Namboole.
To be honest,
Please
I
do.
haven't.
Who will be surprised?
I haven't.
Please do this.
Who will be surprised
The
by
stadium is sparkling.
yeah,
All
how
the-
good it looks
all
right
the
now.
laboratories
Yeah.
are working. The water is running. The seats are new. The lights are working.
The lights are much stronger, much better.
It's
Yeah,
an all-seater, so when you don't sit on concrete, you're sitting actually on chairs. And it's a comfortable experience.
All right, thank you guys for the update you've given us on Chan, and for those who want to know how things have been unfolding till today, please follow our link, subscribe, and give us what you think. Write something in the comment. Yes.